Hi, I'm Sparrowheart, and I'm the creator of the Mythic Warrior men's training. The Mythic Warrior is a program for men that meets one weekend a month over 8 months. It usually starts in the early part of November and ends probably sometime around the beginning of June. So the Mythic Warrior is based on the heroic journey archetype as put forth by Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell, who was the world's greatest mythologist, basically found that in every culture, through every era and period of world history, every culture had a different version of what was essentially one story. And that one story, he called it the heroic journey. And the reason he said there was only one story is because human beings are all hardwired the same. And so this one story is in some sense a metaphor or a map of how we humans grow. And the stories can look different in every culture because every culture takes the hardwire and introduces its own software. So if a story has monsters and gods, they'll look different in every culture. But the basic form of the story is the same, and the Mythic Warrior follows the arc of the heroic journey through these 8 months. The first part of the heroic journey, Campbell called the call to adventure. For some reason, the hero or the heroine, and since this is a men's program, I'll just use the hero from here on. The hero is drawn to move outside of the world that he knows, to move outside the familiar, to somehow enter another world which is calling him. In some of the stories, people are actually being called. They're following something. So in Alice in Wonderland, Alice follows the rabbit down the hole. Sometimes the hero is swept up in something, like there are many stories where sailors set a course across the sea and the big storm comes up and blows them totally off course. And then all of a sudden, they're in a world they've never been in before. Or as we all know in Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy is literally swept up and deposited in another world. And sometimes the hero has to take this journey because if he doesn't, to continue on this course is disastrous. The sons have to leave the kingdom in search of the water of life because if they don't, their father, the king, will die. Persephone has to descend to the underworld, and her mother, Demeter, has to follow her. So sometimes the cost of not going on the journey is disastrous. So in the Mythic Warrior, we explore all of those, but the whole point of Mythic Warrior is to take us out of what is known and familiar. But that unknown is different for every person. So if you were raised in a highly rational culture, maybe your parents were academics or school teachers, you would have been very attached to being able to express yourself in that way. So for you, the unknown would be the irrational. If you were raised in a very kind of rigid, authoritarian, military type culture, for a very kind of masculine with hierarchy culture, for you, the unknown might be your whole feminine side. For a whole bunch of people, there's that expression of, for me, success is always defined as what do I have to do? You were brought up in a culture where feelings were not allowed. So for you, the known is do something, make a plan, follow it. But the unknown is to live in the world of feelings. So every person, the unknown looks different. And in Mythic Warrior is designed to allow this journey that, 12, 15, 18 guys can take together, where for every one of them, they have their own different goal of their heroic journey. I like to say, and I say it often in Mythic Warrior, my job is to get you to fall in love with the unknown. Because in all the stories, when the hero leaves what's known and familiar He goes into the world that seems frightening and dangerous, and that's why there are often monsters in the unknown. But there are also allies in the unknown. If there's a wicked witch of the West, there's a good witch of the North. If the treasure is being guarded by a dragon, there is someone who will come along and offer you a song that'll lull the dragon to sleep. So in Mythic Warrior, we explore these archetypes, but we always enter the unknown and talk about it later. One of the things that often happens is as we introduce these very intense and provocative and in some ways unusual experiences, men often ask, why are we doing this? How long will we be doing it for? So what should we expect to experience? All of those are avoiding the jump into the unknown. Tell me what it's like, and then I'll consider doing it. Turn it into the known, and then I might say yes to it. But everything in Mythic Warrior is we have the experience first. And when you have the experience first, you get that, harsh and exciting, that kind of intensity of entering that world. And then you actually have something to talk about. This statement Ram Dass made, he said, there's only one sure thing you can say about enlightenment, and that is, it's not what you think it is. And in Mythic Warrior, you are not who you think you are. Who you think you are is your rational mind, but 90% of who you are is below the level of your conscious mind. And Mythic Warrior consistently takes you into that space beyond the rational mind. We have experiences and we talk and we mirror and we think about them. And then from that, the sense of who we are expands. The problems are never solved, but the person who has the problems gets bigger and stronger. So Mythic Warrior is to train people to enter that unknown passionately and to be willing to experience it and then discover themselves who they are beyond what they currently know. I read a book recently about these great trackers in Africa who tracked lions and big game, and very often they would lose the track and then they'd find it again. And there was a quote that to me really applies to Mythic Warrior, and it applies because since the point of Mythic Warrior is to enter the unknown, to find those parts of ourselves we haven't experienced before, it is incredibly exciting and enlivening. The quote from that book is, "We have no idea where you're going, but I can absolutely guarantee we know the way to get you there." Mythic Warrior is called a training because it trains us to not always go to the default, which is usually in our rational mind and our thoughts, and to act in the ways that we've learned how to act through the cultural download. But it teaches us to halt that and have the experience of going into new territory, experiencing that scary and wonderful world which is outside of the known. And Mythic Warrior consistently goes there. For most people I know who've been through Mythic Warrior, at the end of it, they say, this changed my life. And the one thing I know is I'm a much larger person than I was when I started. So my hope for you, if you decide to join Mythic Warrior, is you take that call to adventure. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to live, not in your fears, but in the excitement of moving forward, the goal is to live a life without regrets. And that is totally a worthy goal. Hope to see you. Oh.